who do you idolize? Who is it that when you think about them, you watch them on TV, you watch them in a movie, you watch them in a game, you just sort of get excited, right? It's just the idea of this person. You root for them, you cheer for them. You really look at them as almost superhuman, right? You probably place them on a pedestal above pretty much everyone else. And maybe you've got lots of people that would fit that mold. So who is it? Who do you idolize? Well, let's get back to that in just one second. So my oldest son is 11, and he is a huge sports fan, and he's an athlete himself. He plays soccer. That's his best sport. He loves to play flag football, or him and I will play catch for hours and hours on end, and he loves to watch the games as well, right? So football is his favorite sport to watch on TV, and whether it's college or pro, and he loves the highlights. He's a big highlight guy, so YouTube is where he gets most of his stuff. But he and I will have these long conversations about the players, and they're usually pretty one-sided because he's doing all the talking, and he's very excited, and he wants to tell me about a great play that so-and-so had, or who do you think is the fastest player in the NFL, or who do you think has the best hands, or who do you think the best running back is, or who do you think is going to be rookie of the year? And the questions go on and on and on, right? And the conversation goes on and on and on. He's just really excited about it, and it's cool that he's so passionate about it, right? I love that, right? It's something that is just natural for him. He loves it. It even goes into him collecting some stuff, right? So every year for Christmas, one of the things he asks for is the complete box set of football cards from the NFL that year. And that's cool. Those are neat things to have, and you can look on them, and they got the stats, and they're just neat to collect. As a matter of fact, he got that habit from me, because several years ago I passed down to him my entire collection from when I was a kid. So he's got cards from the 70s and the 80s. He's got a Bo Jackson rookie card. He's got a Lawrence Taylor rookie card. Just some cool things like that. So he's really taken that on, and he really likes to have those cards, and he'll look at them for hours in his room when he's not watching highlights or watching games or playing sports. And every once in a while, he'll say, "Hey, Dad, who would you love to meet? Right? Who would you love to meet? Or who would you like to get an autograph from?" Right? Because he'll tell me about the people he would like to get an autograph from. And this is sort of my opportunity to, in this excited conversation, to be a little bit of a buzzkill for my son and say, let's hold up one second, right? It's perfectly okay to admire the talent that these people have, because it's immense, right? And it's perfectly okay to try to learn something from them if you're competing in the same sport, right? It's good. It's not okay, it's great, right? You want to emulate some of those things, make yourself better. Absolutely. To place somebody up on this pedestal and say that I value your autograph. Their autograph has nothing to do with them or their skill, just their name, right? But to value their autograph is saying, in a way, I value this human being at a higher level than I value others. Maybe even value them higher than I do myself, right? And I think that's not a good situation. Not a good situation for a lot of reasons. Number one, it takes down other people in your life that are really there and in your life, right? And it also props up people unrealistically, right? Because again, it's okay to admire somebody for the skill and the talent they have, but to place them on a pedestal as a human is a setup for failure, not just for yourself, but for them too. Because when they do fail, because they're human, we get disappointed. Well, why? Why would we be disappointed in somebody else's failure? They're a human, right? Sometimes their failures are pretty great and obvious, and they're in the public eye, and that's tough, right? But our heroes, often they say heroes often disappoint us. Well, that's because we put them in a position that they can, right? We allow our heroes to disappoint us because we put them in this invincibility cloak in our minds, and that's just not the case, right? So treat them like a human being, right? So to answer his question, I will usually say, well, I don't want anybody's autograph, and that's the truth. Could care less about an autograph. But, I would love to have a conversation with Jack Lambert or the president, or in historical context, Abraham Lincoln or whatever, right? Tiger Woods, Tom Watson. Love to have a conversation with those people, not because I idolize them, but because we both share an interest in similar things, or you'd want to know their perspective on something, or you'd want to learn something from them. So I think it's great and healthy, to have a desire to meet somebody from that perspective, but that's not usually what it is born from. It's usually born from an idolization of an individual. And so you want to curb that. You don't need to be idolizing anybody. If you're going to idolize somebody, make it yourself, right? Put yourself up on that pedestal. Make yourself the most important person in the world, because you got a lot of people that are looking up to you, right? And so you want to be the best person that you can be for them.